Hello, I'm Dr. David Page. I'm the instructor for Literacy 645, Teacher Leader Practices for Academic Literacy. Teaching students how to read and understand and interpret academic literacy, that it would be content reading, for example, in social studies, science, even mathematics, is really quite different than it is for reading your typical narrative text that most students have grown up learning to read, when they went through elementary school, first, second, and third grade, and even into fourth and fifth grade. And the reason this is quite often as students advance, the texts become more complex and they're just written differently. They're written in different ways. The syntax is different. The language is different. The vocabulary is quite different. So this requires that as teachers we pay attention to a number of things to help our students be successful with this. So in essence, what we're doing within the disciplines is we're really teaching students how to understand the literacy of the content area that they're studying. So as teachers, we need to be attuned to this, and we need the skills to be able to help students. So this course is going to be broken up into 8 modules that will go fairly quickly. This summer the course is only 5 weeks long, so it's going to move pretty fast. The module is going to cover, module number 1 will cover the fundamentals of the reading process. If we're going to be able to talk intelligently about reading, whether it's in middle school or even in secondary school, secondary grades, we have to understand how do we actually read. As human beings, what do our brains do when they read? We need to understand that. Number 2, we need to understand how readers differ. How are they different in the skills that they bring into a 6th grade class, or the skills that they bring into 5th grade, or even how do they differ in biology class in high school. Number 3, we need to understand some of the instruction that they would have received when they were learning how to read. Again, because there's various sub-skills that readers have to be successful at reading, and because we have so many students who are not successful, we need to understand what were the foundational building blocks that they may or may not have been able to master. The 4th module will then go into, well, what exactly is disciplinary reading? So we'll kind of get a good handle on what that really means. Module number 5, we'll talk a little bit about adolescent reading assessment. And when I talk about adolescent reading, I'm really talking about grades 4th, 5th, on into middle school and into high school. So how would we assess these students to understand what kind of readers they are and how we could best help them? Module 6 will then get into instructional approaches around word study, around vocabulary. How can we help students understand the words they're going to encounter? Module number 7 will talk about reading fluency. How can we help students become fluent readers? Knowing that reading fluency contributes half the variance, or is halfway responsible for being able to comprehend, we just can't ignore the idea that students need to be fluent readers. And finally, module number 8 will talk about instructional strategies to encourage reading comprehension. So in addition, we'll also take a look at the Swires text around academic language, understanding what academic language is, how can we facilitate that across the various disciplinary or content areas that we have in school.